So listen up with Salam, bonjour, go, hello. It's Ashk and Bila with another episode of Domination. And this is going to be a very sexy episode. Then it's going to be all about sex. Oh, we have to watch out that we're not going to get censored here on YouTube. Anyway.
We will get censored and we will get shadow banned.
I mean, it's also a prediction for us to have our OnlyFans account opened up soon, so maybe that's going to take us somewhere.
If people would be interested in the content,
let us know.
Comment down below and how much you would be willing to pay. We also accept PayPal actually already now. I'm not kidding. If you're interested, DMs are open. We're going to talk about this later because I'm very serious.
Oh, we'll go. We need coins. We need money. Anyway, big thank you to the community for having received us so well. Our first episode was amazing. We were baffled as how much love we got. And yeah, thank you so much. But also, it was a natural. Like, you need to celebrate us and value us. Like, we're not going anywhere. And I feel like
it's annoying to hate us.
It's annoying to hate us.
Many people do, but it's not fun, I think.
And we're coming for you. we're coming for you, baby. Anyway, so Bella, tonight's episode is going to be about sex. Because A, it's a provocative topic. B, it's our first topic ever to talk about. And like, we have some news maybe for you. So, yeah. And third, it's Bella's topic. Ever since I've gotten to know Bella, all she thinks about and all she cares about is sex.
Not exposing me like this.
Well, so, and I know all of you are so interested in our sex life because you see her in the dark room and you never see me in the dark room. And maybe that's something that we should address tonight.
Minute 2, honey. Good thing I'm wearing these glasses so you cannot see me blushing.
And yeah, last episode I did a little introduction. I feel like tonight I also want to be introducing ourselves in a way. So what tonight, I always say tonight, it's today. Whatever, tonight, today, whenever you're watching this video or this podcast. I mean, some of you listen to us. But I feel like watch us because
the assets are there.
What we're doing is we're going to assess what it means to be a doll in such a sexual life, how sex for us looks like, what we're doing with sex, what it means to us, our evolution about it, then darkroom, dating, men, all these topics we're going to address. And yeah, also like what I do, my profession as a sex worker, we're going to get into that as well. And maybe some little dirty questions. So yeah, that's a topic for today. There's always going to be some touching and kissing involved. And if you see us in the club making out, don't feel like you're invited to it.
Again, PayPal. You're welcome. Actually, PayPal is not a good platform, though. It's owned by some right-wing people.
Which platform should we use then again?
Yeah, but that's the issue. So, PayPal for now.
I mean, hot take. Everything is owned by white rich people, right? Like assholes. So we have to be intentional with what we use and be critical. But also, we're just girlies. Sometimes we just have to use what we have to use.
I mean, yeah, if someone's gonna make another app, please feel free.
Yes. Let us know. We're not that technologically savvy. We're just here to be pretty.
And I actually would like to add something to the intro because I'm not fully satisfied. So, we're talking about sex. We're talking about our own sex life. We're talking about our very hot takes about sex. But I also want to emphasize that we're talking about the political elements about sex.
Oh.
For me, sex, especially trans sex, is deeply political.
Oh.
Because the way how we're being perceived, the way that we interact, is all because of social relations. And it's all because of power dynamics that we are able to live certain things and be blocked in certain other things, or we are forced to do certain things. So I think this is something that I want to come back to again and again and again, that sex is political, and that their sex was for a long time claimed by men. And for the longest time, until like 1996 in Germany, rape was legal, you know?
Especially visibility of sex. Yes. Like when we look at the queer scene, or like how sex is being portrayed in media, it's always gay men having sex in queer contexts, or like the visibility of trans sex and how trans sex is even portrayed. Like most people don't even know how trans people have sex and what the possibilities are. So,
and honey, there's a lot of possibilities.
Oh gosh. Don't turn me on right now.
And you can't.
Yeah, the T4T thing is like also like a big topic. Like, being marginalized in a way that like regular society always like puts you in the margins of like sexuality. Trans people have found ways of like curating spaces where we are valued and seen, and these are, and most of the times, T4T spaces. So T4T sexuality is also something we need to address, and really maybe also have like an episode about where we invite other like T4T couples or stuff like that. It can be an expansive topic, because I feel like that's just T4T itself, power topic. Let's just say.
And not just with sex, like this is also in a lot of other arenas that are being completely transformed by T4T.
Period. Anyway, let's get into the topics. So we have some talking points, we have some questions for each other, because as we told you before, we're getting to know each other as well. And especially when it comes to the sexual things, I think most of the times we're not talking about sex, we're just doing it. Especially with her, she's so proactive. Let me tell you, every time I see her in the club or somewhere, like sitting in her kitchen, the way she looks at me, she's like up and down. I'm like, oh my God, if a man were to look like me like that, I'll be scratching his eyes out. But with her, it's like, oh well.
Let me undress.
That's why I give her the nickname Venus, because she's like, everything she does is all about like being pretty, beautiful, and like sexual. Girly, I love it. Anyway, so shall we continue with our questions that we have prepared for each other?
Yes. So let me start.
Yeah, what's your question for me?
My question for you is, what is your biggest toxic trait
When it comes to sex?
when it comes to sex?
That, well, even though I look like this, and everyone assumes that I'm so sexual and so aggressive and whatever, like you will see me being erotic a lot of the times. I'm very erotic. But I think the biggest misconception that people have about me is that I am so hypersexual, and actually I have very strong boundaries when it comes to people touching me. And it's coming to the point where I'm actually annoyed by myself, because I want to. I block everything. Like if you've been in the club or somewhere with me and you've approached me, like 9 times out of 10, I've like vigorously pushed you away. And I think it comes from trauma in a way. It comes from also me being so deeply disgusted by the idea of a man just like holding some sort of power or like some sort of like game dynamic with me, that I inherently block it out, because I know in the gay queer community scene, like, I mean, I grew up as a gay boy, like, ooh, surprise. I was a gay man before. There is an inherent disrespect when it comes to gay men having sex, because there's just like so fast and quick and replaceable.
Are the gays okay?
Are the gays okay? Are the gays okay? Hot take, they're not.
Let's make a whole other episode.
Trust and believe. And I think being conditioned to always hold space for gay men, or like to not hold space for gay men, but like have this inherent replaceable quick dynamic, my self-respect taught me to just distance myself from that. So I think my biggest problem right now that I have with sex is that I cannot let men touch me so easily, even though I wish I would. I wish sometimes I could just go to a club, go to a dark room, take a man and just let him like go all over me. Not just a man, anybody at this point. I'm a pansexual. But I think that the trauma response is too big right now. The trauma response is too big. My rules that I have over my body are too strong. So right now, all I do is sex in the bedroom, very sensually, very cutely. And I am a softie, so I need to have like someone who really respects my body. But sometimes I just want to get dominated, like very wildly.
Dominate.
Doll wants to be dominated. But then again, this is my problem. I can't let anybody have that dominating energy over me because it triggers this response out of me. So this is my problem. This is the problem I have. So for that reason, I also am at sex therapy right now. So if you're listening to this, sex therapy, best thing ever. Therapy in general, but also sex therapy. Shout out to my sex therapist. Hello, you listening to this? Love you. Yeah, like this heavy blockade that I have, and I probably in the future I will get rid of it by therapy, but also like being intentional and also like having more beautiful experiences. So again, like these lesbian experiences that we're having right now, like really help me easify sexuality for me. Yeah, it's like I'm very thankful.
But also, I don't know if it's really a toxic trait. It's more a coping mechanism.
I think the toxicity is just me being very dismissive towards men. It can come off as misandric sometimes, and that's why people assume that I'm misandric or like man-hating. Since I'm like, I have strong boundaries when it comes to men. I have strong boundaries when it comes to just any interaction with men. And I also portray myself like that. And I actually like to have that reputation. But it can be a bit like toxic because
You don't give people a chance.
I don't give people a chance. And I feel like at some point in my life, I want to become softer.
You want to become softer
towards men, yeah, because I want to give them grace. Like what is all of this reactiveness about? It's trauma response. And I don't want to be led by my own trauma.
I mean, I think that is a really interesting point because, I mean, I think this is a very common experience of a lot of people, that people have been wronged by men so many times and have experienced horrible situations of harassment, discrimination by men, and therefore are in this on guard position when it comes to men. But also, I think within a sexual context, if you have still desire for men, it puts you in a really difficult position.
Yeah.
Whereas if you are somehow able to take back the narrative, then in the end, it's you who's making the rules.
But how do you do that? Like what does it look like for you to take back the narrative? Because I feel like for me, it's self-empowerment and therapy and just like seeing men for what they are. But every time I see a man for what he is, I'm constantly reminded that all of those men don't have the emotional capacities to be soft and self-reflecting. So that I'm like already, ugh. And you know what feeds into that? Let me just be very feminist right now. All of the headlines, the news that we're seeing every day, like there's 16 million. Watch that Rape Academy, the Giselle Pelicot situation. Every day, every second day, there's a woman getting killed by her partner in Germany. How can I not live with all of this information and be simple to men or like ease into men? It's like it's so difficult for me to even if it's gay men, which is like quote unquote a bit easier and like a bit more soft, but honestly, they're not. They're all just like men are men, and they like
same patriarchal dynamics.
Like what I want from a man is like softness and self-reflection, and I automatically assume that you're not. And I don't know, like how do you empower yourself to just do it? Like what What helps you with that?
I think there's a big difference between dating men and fucking men. And this is an episode about sex. So let's talk about the latter. Because what I always say is like, let's not date men, let's just fuck them. Because then you don't have to deal with
I can't disconnect the two.
what comes after, you know?
Yeah.
The emotional baggage of someone who has never gone to therapy and doesn't have emotional maturity. What? Hot take.
I'm not an issue. Period.
We love the men that have emotional maturity and have gone to therapy and are
Hashtag not all men.
exactly. Hot take, not all men.
Hashtag hot take. All men.
So let's get back to sex.
But you wanted to tell me,
Yes.
what's like, how can you differentiate it?
So, what I think for me is the key that you realize as a doll, you need to put yourself in a position that is over men, on top, literally and figuratively.
As a self-protection mechanism.
Not as a self-protection mechanism, but more as actually maybe yes, like as the only way how these kind of interactions can work, because you make the rules. Because for far too long, men have made the rules about how sexual interaction work with women or with queer people, and I think it's about time we take back the
narrative.
Obviously, it's all about consent, you know, but but I do think it's important to see that you get to decide what you want to do. You get to decide how far you want to go. You get to decide when to stop. But I think this also comes from a high level of self-confidence that I think I carry in a situation where I'm in a sexual encounter with men, where I have the feeling that I'm in full control, and also acknowledging that you don't always have the power to do that. Like, that's what non-consensual sexual relations are, or what rape is. And
so do you feel like dolls need to empower themselves in like a psychological way in order to have sex with men?
I think that's what I'm trying to get at, that it's about not degrading yourself and not trying to appease a man, as not trying to follow this male gaze, but more thinking like, girl, you're gonna follow my dog gaze right now. If you don't fall into my dog gaze, you're out. You know the next person is already in line. And
They're really changing the narrative.
100 people behind him as well, because we all know all the men watch trans girls in porn.
Period.
This is a fact you can research, and
Especially in conservative areas.
yes, or they're like dressing up with boobies.
Well,
Well,
I mean, as they should. Like, hot take. I support every shit like that everybody does when it's consensual and whatever. But like, don't take your politics into doing the opposite. Like, stand your ground, be yourself. Like, honey, or otherwise, I come for you.
and I think the issue is that so much of also our doll experience is can you calm down? Our experience, we're being taught there's a very cis-normative narrative about dolls wanting to become cis women and be treated like cis women, which means being in patriarchal relationship or sexual structures or dynamics. And this is how you achieve this goal of womanhood, whatever that's supposed to mean. And I'm really fed up with this, that so many men are also feeding into this discourse, because they're like, oh, no, I don't have some like feminist cis woman, but I have some doll that wants to be a cis woman that's being degraded. And I think that's so dangerous for our community, because as dolls, we have gone through so much to be where we're at, just to end up like being the purse of some men. Like, I have nothing against trophy wives. I really I aspire to be a trophy wife one day.
Hot take.
Hot take, very hot take. And to all the trophy wives. I have a lot of respect for you, but I think there's also a difference between being intentionally a trophy wife or being unintentionally
Someone's trophy.
submerged into a dynamic where you actually are not thriving. If you're a trophy wife and you are thriving, honey, get that coin, give it to all of us, spread it to the community.
Period.
We need more of those sugar babes, yes. But I think what I'm trying to get at is the day-to-day, like the casual.
Yes.
The casual sex.
And I understand the urge. Like every time I talk to my doll friends, it's like, especially when they're in their early transition or when they're dating straight men for the first time, whatever, there is this inherent like lust for, let me call it what it is, validation and like this new experience. And I get it, and I don't want to like take it away from them, because I feel like it is experience of it is the experience of dollhood and the trans feminine lived experience. But we can never not forget the context in which we live in. And that in that point, it's so important to listen to each other, learning from one doll to another, that one mistake that one doll did cannot be something that the other doll just misses. We have to learn from our elders, from the people who've experienced it, who are just living that life, or have lived that life already. And all I can see is everyone is telling me, or like all the other younger dolls, stay away from just like this lust-driven, like unintentional boy dating, because it puts you in a dangerous spot. These boys only manipulate. It's just, that's what I'm seeing.
So you're man hating again.
I'm doll protecting. I wish I could just tell every girl, go and grab that man, go in that gutter, go in that car, have that sex with him. But honey, we're living in a rising fascism. These boys, they are crazy. They're isolated. They are living in fear amongst themselves. They're in competition with each other. They are so deeply transphobic. They will never ever want to be seen in public with you. And then they get to meet you. Don't you realize under what kind of tension he is? Like, one thing that can happen with him, like that he feels he's not under control anymore, he snaps. And I don't want any girl to fall under this circumstance. So what I'm saying right now is, these men cannot be trusted, not because they're evil, but because they are under so much pressure and tension that they cannot evolve around. But we can protect ourselves.
I'm honestly not sure if I 100% agree, because I also think this puts a general fear into our head that everybody wants something bad from us, and that, I mean, I understand what you're saying in the very beginning.
I'm just protective. Ugh.
Yes, I understand this, but also we cannot be driven by fear the whole time. And I think there's also a lot of power in going after what you want. I think it's just a matter of going about it with intention and going about it with awareness, and to be able to read the signs, to be able to read the rule, and not get caught up in.
Let's get to another topic. I feel like this is maybe it's a deep topic, and we're repeating ourselves, and we want to talk about the beautiful things about sex. Not only beautiful things, but like, this is just an inherent danger. We are sadly a fetish to so many men, and we are like, I've seen so many things, I've heard about so many things, and it's just,
yes. And this actually brings me to a next topic, which I think is more interesting. It is the way that men engage with dolls sexually. And I think at least what I'm witnessing is we're at a very interesting turning point, because before, I feel like we had a lot of this dolls trying to be straight girls dating straight men. And now it's somehow, I'm feeling a shift that sexuality is much more fluid than it used to be before. also that's a bubble thing. I think in Berlin, these conversations and these like mental shifts are happening slowly, more so than in other places, because there's more dolls around and people are taking up space and the dolls are here and everybody is like bowing down as they should. And I just think this is really interesting because I am so tired of men, and this is for gay or for straight men, that exclude the possibility of even having sex with the doll just because they've never experienced it. And this is something that I know all of my girls out there will resonate, have experienced, that you're getting with a man and it's cute, and regardless of him being gay or being straight, at some point he's like, but it's like my first time with a girl, or this is my first time not with a cis woman. And I always think, like, just go for it. Like, I understand it's hard. I understand it's like a brain fuck for you, but I'm also like, what are you afraid of? You know, in the end, it's like human bodies, and you can explore each other. And if you're not getting aroused, if this is not something that you're interested in, then so be it. But you cannot try until you know. And I would really encourage all of the guys out there to just step out of this like binary thinking.
And the girls too.
And the girls too.
Actually, and the NBs too, honey. You know, as a matter of fact, all of you just get a little taste of us. Not for me personally, you know, I have a blockade. But but for her.
This is not for me. I'm set out. This is for my sisters. This is for my sisters. We all know they want it.
I mean, it's right. Like, I think it's a natural shift, and we are ready. But I think this brings me to the next topic. Something that is like so dear to my heart, so dear to me, is trans-lesbian sex. I think it's also like a very personal point to us. And also like a very political, very spiritual, very queer. And what it means...
Can I do an interlude before we start this topic?
What's an interlude? Don't know.
No, so
okay.
Before we properly get into this topic, let's get into the vibe. So we brought some treats for us. Because we're doing such hard work. Are you ready?
Can you feed me, mommy?
So, let me see. You see the nails? Shout out to Kansas Claus. Go book him. Get your nails done.
Also T for T love.
Yes, honey. Eat. How is that?
Yo. Shall we do a scene now where I'm taking it from somewhere else?
You want like from my boobs?
Oh, maybe, yeah. Oh, well, you know what? This is up for
actually. This is content that needs to be paid for.
This was a teaser. This was a teaser.
Yes, OnlyFans, link it in the comments.
Period.
I'm gonna feed myself because I don't see part of the thing.
Okay, I have two questions for you when it comes to translesbianism. That's translesbian sex. How did you always, like, what was your attraction towards women in your whole lifespan? Like, how did it evolve? That, and what does it mean to you to be translesbian, to have sex with women, with trans women, with like trans feminine NBs? Does it feel different to having sex with men? And is it also important for you in a way that like empowers you, maybe?
Oh, well, you're asking like 10 questions in one.
Well, honey, I'm a lot.
She contains multitudes. Okay, well, let's get into it because let's stop talking about men. So I think for me, everybody always laughs at me because I say I'm an aspiring lesbian.
I laugh. I mean, you're the most lesbian person I know. Like, she has 1,000 girlfriends. I don't know.
I don't know. we're getting there. Anyway, so I'm not fully free of my father's interests. So that's why I'm aspiring. And I'm also aspiring because I have experienced the lesbian love and how liberating it can be. And I want to have only that in my life. That's really my goal, to be honest. I mean, for any man, prove me wrong, sure, but doubt it. I just think there is something so inherently kind and respectful and compassionate and emotionally mature within not all, but 98% of lesbian relationships. And just the way, the basic is really it's the basic things of how you treat each other. It's just a whole other level. With men, I don't know, maybe you can say something about this, but I've never been in a relationship with a man, proper relationship, so I wouldn't really know. But I just feel it's so hard to reach this point where even the basic necessities are covered. When I talk to all my straight girlfriends, I'm like, this sounds horrible. Why are you doing this to yourself? You've worked 2 years for your man to be remembering about your doctor's appointment, asking how you feel after you got a dental surgery. This is what I'm seeing. Mm-hmm. Just the level of unawareness about these basic things.
Lack of interest,
I don't think it's lack of interest. I think it's just ignorance. I think also this has so much to do with our socialization.
Yeah.
With male socialization, that the boys are taught that they don't need to care, that people are always going to do the work for them, mm-hmm. that they are set up, they don't need to struggle. Mama's going to take care of you, Papa's going to take care of you. The whole system is going to take care of you. You don't need to really fight.
So you think the inherent way that women are being socialized and the way they have always had a stronger access to their own emotions makes them more emotionally connecting partners?
I think for sure. I mean, I also think women or flinter people are better friends. No shade. I think when there's beautiful male friendship, and was one thing that I love to see, and that is I'm seeing it more and more, is gay friendships and how they can actually embrace their feminine sides. Mm-hmm. And I also don't want to necessarily separate so much in this is feminine behavior, this is masculine behavior. We're past that, but obviously there's patterns. And I think they're if men, and this can be straight men as well, but mostly gay men, when they have found their channel through femininity, that just opens up a whole other array of emotions and ways how they can see themselves, how they can see one another. And that's why I always say femininity is the future. And I will this is also my hot take, the future is feminine. And I love my trans boys. You're part of this. But I really think for me, but it's also very personal, femininity was my rescue.
Mm-hmm. Same for me.
It was really finding that way of thinking, finding that way of being, walking through life, going about your decision, taking decisions with your heart and not with your brain or your parent. And I think that is really something so powerful, and it's something in our world that is so devalued. Nobody cares about you being emotionally mature. You don't get money for that, you don't get rich, you don't get famous for being a good friend. And this has a lot to do with care work.
Period.
This has a lot to do with also the way that community structures are set up. And this is you can see that throughout history, that flinter people have been doing the work. We wouldn't be in half of the social justice movement wouldn't have existed, or I would even say all of them, if there wouldn't have been all these splinter people on the sidelines giving all this like emotional support and like help and just
but also fighting the thing.
obviously also fighting the thing. But I think this care work that has been and is still predominantly done only by
intuition, empathy, activation, taking care, like checking in, like also just like the spiritual connection. Like I feel like people who have embraced, like no matter the gender, femininity in their lives, and not only embrace it but also value and celebrate it, the way that they are spiritually connected to their environment and to themselves and to their own intentions, they are the ones who feel alignment. Okay, again, trans lesbian sex. How does that look for you? What does it feel for you? What is it different to like any other form of sex?
That's such a good question. I mean, I love all kinds of sex.
Venus. She's for everybody.
But I think like in trans lesbian sex, it's easier to trust, and I think this trust makes it easier for the bodies to just talk, and I think a lot of like I wish all sex could just be bodies talking, but I think we all carry so much trauma within us from patriarchy that a lot of times, and you said it, it's so hard to trust men, and you cannot just have like sex with a man without like making sure you're also okay with this.
Period.
And I think while of course within trans lesbian sex or lesbian sex in general, you do have to check in with each other, and I think that's also a very flinter thing to do, that you ask like 400 times like, can I touch here, can I touch here, can I touch here? Hot tech. But I do think there's an inherent way of being together that again is so respectful, and it's so you're so interested in the mutual experience. It's not about your own experience, but it's about the scenario you create, and that's what I love about trans lesbian sex, I think, the most. Yeah, and I think, I mean, it can be everything. And that's, again, the beauty. You make up your own rules. Do you want to be, like, softy vanillaing for, like, 5 hours?
Like every other sex as well.
Or wherever you want to go. That's completely up to you. And one thing that I would like to add is this feeling that you don't need to explain something. That was something so interesting for me when I had my first experience with a doll, that for the first time you were so easily understood, and this goes beyond sex. This is like this connection that you have, that in every part of your life when you talk with a cis person, even if they're most ally, most informed, most aware, there's just this level that you will never reach, of this level of understanding that you will never reach, and that makes oneself as a doll or as a trans person needing to explain yourself over and over and over again. And you want to do it because you know the person cares and they want to learn. And this is the same with like so many marginalized groups. Like I will never understand the experience of a racialized person, and they will always have a different kind of understanding talking.
What? I thought you were POC.
Hot take.
She's surrounded by POCs all the time. The colonizer. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry, I interrupted you.
She needed to say that. She was holding on to
the eyes. I'm always constantly reminded that she's white. We're going to do a colonization episode.
Yes, please. So back to the topic.
Yeah.
The first time having these talks and realizing actually you don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to prove something to someone else. You don't need to show them your narrative. You don't need to validate your experience, because there's just this inherent knowledge. Although all trans experiences are so vastly different, we all have the similar patterns that we go through, and the sentiments, the small, like the pains, the suffering, the struggles, they are all similar. And this knowing of what was needed to get to where you are right now, I think that knowledge can only be gathered through experience. And so when I felt this,
getting philosophical here, I love.
Who would have thought that the sex episode was gonna get so philosophical? But that's the thing. As I said, sex is very political, and so now we can say sex is also philosophical.
It is very philosophical. So, everybody, for our last question, to sum it all up, I have a question for you, Bela. It's very dear to my heart, and I was thinking about this because I myself don't take any hormones. So I wanted to know from your perspective, how has your sexual drive and your curiosity about sex and just like your sexuality itself changed for the last, how many years?
3.5.
3.5 since you've taken hormones. Like, can you give us a little journey?
I love you with all these deep questions. I like it deep. I know. So this is a very interesting question, and this is a question actually that I'm personally getting asked a lot, and it has a long answer, so settle down, seatbelt on. I think it's more or less a common fact that libido is more or less diminishes when you start taking estrogen. I think that I actually recently have heard about the case of one girl that didn't have any libido changes after taking hormones. I was like, good for you, sister. But I know for like most of us, it is this case, and that was also for me the case. And I think this is something so sad, but it's also a part of the transformative element of transitioning, that it really makes you question yourself. So when I started taking hormones, immediately sex was
out of
the question. I was not interested anymore. I was in the club. I was with people that I thought were super attractive. I was watching porn. Nothing happened. And it's something so frustrating if you have worked so hard on owning your sexuality growing up as a queer child, and then coming to a place where you finally feel confident about your sexuality, for this to be taken away from you and for something that you want. So it's in the beginning, also because of the effect of estrogen, you have a lot of mood swings. You can be a lot more likely to have depression. In my first weeks, for sure, I was doubting myself so hard. I'm like, why are you doing this to yourself? This is a horrible experience. And we're really not having fun. Also, I started in winter, so that was also not making it easier. But really, for the first 9 months of my hormonal transition, I was not able to really have sex unless it was with my partner. And this is also a huge shout out to my partner. I love you. And I think without having this connection, I would have potentially really lost my connection to my own sexuality, or it would have taken a lot longer for it to come back. But because I had this pre-existing sexual relationship with my partner, we were able to continue that at a much lower capacity, but still we had this connection, and it sort of kept me going in my understanding of my identity and my sexuality. And I think what's something so interesting is an encounter that I had this roughly 9 months after I started taking hormones that brought back my libido. And I will forever remember this moment. I will forever remember this person. You know who you are. And the sad thing about this whole story is that this person was a man. I mean, it's just a fact, but I think it had to be a man for this experience to happen, because what made it so special is that for the first time in my entire existence, I had the feeling like I was having sex as a woman. And I'm speaking from my very personal perspective right now. I'm not speaking for all of the dolls for sure, but from my point of view, the experience was so transformative because it reaffirmed my womanhood so strongly, and I started to understand my sexuality as being a female sexuality. And I remember this was such a mind fuck for me, that all of a sudden, like, your whole world turns upside down somehow. And I'm saying it's sad that it was with a man, because I was having already lesbian sex with my partner the whole time before, but somehow in my mind, I couldn't see that yet as being a woman having sex, me being a woman having sex. And I think that is because compulsory heterosexuality is so deeply ingrained within our social structures, within the ways we grew up, our socialization, is that to be a woman means to be a straight woman. Just like it's also, in a lot of cases, to be a woman means to be a white woman. And to not be able to achieve that is really, really hard. And it's a process of marginalization. And I think reaching this moment when I perceived myself for the first time as a woman needed to happen somehow. I don't know if I would have gotten there without a man, to be honest. And after also this experience, there was a period of time where I kept seeking this male validation, this male approval. And we talked about this before, that this is such a thing for so many dolls, that we're constantly looking for men, for straight men, to affirm our womanhood and to affirm our identity. And I think it's so hard to get rid of this ideology, because it is an ideology, it is a propaganda that we're being fed wherever we walk in our life. Like, if it's advertisement, if it's the movie, if it's our school books, if it's kindergarten, it's everywhere. Heterosexuality is just everywhere. You cannot escape it if you like it or not. It's very hard. And I think what I had to do for myself is to really deconstruct this idea that to be a woman was only valid through the eyes of a man. Mm-hmm. And that took a long time. And
do you feel like you are at that right now?
And I think now, for maybe a year, I have come to a point, like a year ago, I have come to a point where I understand that my sexuality and my gender identity is not dependent on men. And regardless of how I look, regardless of how passing I am, nobody can take my womanhood away from me. Doesn't matter how I dress, how I talk to who I sleep with, nobody can take away my womanhood. And I get to decide who I want to spend my life with.
Period.
And we've talked about, and I think also these trans-lesbian experiences have had a significant impact in this understanding and this deep trust within yourself and within your sense of womanhood. So
We want to encourage you to just have more trans-lesbian sex. If you're a doll watching this, the whole gist of this whole episode was to have your sex with other dolls. Come to us. We're open our legs for you. Find your doll bestie. Let's have a lot of trans-lesbian sex. Honestly, that's the most affirming thing you can do. I think, are you finished with that, with your answer? Because I love you. Like, thank you for your vulnerability. But I think the time is telling me that we have to like sum it up right now. But I feel like this episode is so big and we have so many other topics that we want to address. I think we're going to do episode 2, like a follow-up on this one. Sex. Thank you for watching. And I think we should
advertise the Translesbian agenda.